You set up Autopay, you pat yourself on the back, and you think you're done. But what if that one small assumption is quietly costing you hundreds of points on your credit score? We need to talk about whether automatic payments are actually protecting you or just giving you a false sense of financial security. Here's the thing, Autopay was sold to us like a seatbelt, the kind of thing you set once and forget, and suddenly you're immune to financial disaster. But the credit system isn't a car. It's more like a living organism that reacts to dozens of signals at once, and Autopay only covers one of them. Let's back up and understand why payment history matters so much. It makes up 35% of your FICO score, which is the single largest factor in the entire model. So yes, Autopay is doing real work, but you're leaving 65% of the game completely unattended. The problem is that most people treat Autopay like a fire and forget missile, when in reality, it's more like a smoke detector. Useful, but it doesn't put out the fire. Your credit utilization, your account mix, your hard inquiries, your credit age, none of that is touched by the little automation you set up on a Tuesday afternoon. Think back to 2019, 2020, when everyone was refinancing, opening new cards for cashback rewards, and feeling invincible. Credit scores were climbing and the mood was euphoric. Then rates spiked, balances crept up, and suddenly people realized they had Autopay covering the minimum, while utilization quietly ballooned past 30% and dragged their scores down. Experts like those at Experian and NerdWallet have repeatedly pointed out that consumers confuse not missing payments with actively managing credit. And those are two very different things. One is passive survival, the other is strategic positioning. And the irony is that people doing the bare minimum often can't figure out why their score won't budge. Here's a misconception we need to kill right now. Autopay set to the minimum payment is not the same as Autopay set to the full statement balance. And that distinction is enormous. Carrying a balance month to month increases utilization and can signal financial stress to lenders even if you never miss a single due date. The historical lesson here is actually pretty humbling back in the early 2000s. Before credit scoring became a national obsession, people managed credit through sheer habit and attention, not automation. The lesson isn't that technology is bad, it's that technology works best when paired with intentional human oversight, not used as a replacement for it. So what should you actually do with this information? Set Autopay for the full statement balance, not just the minimum. And then set a monthly calendar reminder to manually review your utilization, your balances, and any new inquiries. The community of personal finance folks on forums, subreddits, and credit-focused YouTube channels will tell you the same thing. The people with 800+ scores aren't smarter, they're just more deliberate, reviewing accounts the way a pilot checks instruments before takeoff. Autopay is the co-pilot, not the captain. And let's address the fear head on. Some people avoid looking at their credit reports because they're scared of what they'll find, which is the financial equivalent of not going to the doctor because you're afraid of a diagnosis. Knowing is always better than not knowing, and the good news is that catching a problem early is almost always fixable. The practical playbook is simple: use Autopay for full balance payments, keep utilization under 10% ideally, and never above 30. Check your free reports at annualcreditreport.com and dispute errors the moment you see them. Discipline here isn't about being obsessive. It's about building a boring, repeatable system that quietly compounds in your favor over years. Philosophically, credit is just a score that reflects your relationship with borrowed money over time. And like any relationship, neglect is the silent killer. Consistency, not intensity, is what builds and protects it. You don't need to be brilliant. You just need to show up regularly. The beautiful irony is that the people stressing least about their credit are usually the ones who check it most calmly and systematically, because they've removed the drama by building a process. Comfort with your financial outcome comes from preparation, not from hoping Autopay is quietly handling everything behind the scenes. And whether you're trying to protect your score to qualify for a mortgage, refinance an investment property, or fund a home renovation, we can help you take the next step. Check out our links in the description below for real estate investing guidance, home contracting referrals, and trusted lenders ready to work with you.